Your understanding of speed in manifestation is about to change. I manifested over $20,000 in 72 hours from a state of complete lack, and what I'm about to reveal will utterly shatter your belief that manifestation takes time, effort, or luck. If you're the man who's been grinding for years, watching your bank account grow by mere dollars while expenses mount, feeling that familiar pit in your stomach every time you open a bill, and secretly believing that big money manifestations are reserved for others, or that they take months or years of consistent effort, while your wallet feels lighter every day. You lie awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, asking, "Is this all there is for me?" I know that feeling. I have lived it. By the end of this session, you'll understand the exact technique I used to produce over $20,000 in 72 hours. And you'll receive the 3 critical steps that 17 of my most desperate students used to manifest their own substantial sums within the same rapid time frame. Or you'll know exactly why your past efforts have always been too slow to yield significant financial returns. But here's what most people will miss: the one specific mental act that forces the collapse of time, and without it, you'll continue to manifest at the glacial pace you're currently experiencing. I'll reveal this in the next 5 minutes, along with the 2 time distortion techniques that accelerate results. Leave now, and you'll spend another lifetime waiting for your manifestations to appear, wondering why you never break through. You will never know the secret to making consciousness bend time to your will. When I first met my teacher, Abdullah, in 1931, I was a struggling dancer, financially destitute, barely scraping by in New York. I harbored a deep yearning to return to Barbados, my home, but I had no money for passage. I spoke to Abdullah about it, expressing my desire. He looked at me with those piercing eyes and declared, "You are in Barbados." He didn't ask about my finances. He didn't suggest I save money. He simply stated my new reality. My mind, of course, rebelled. I saw New York, not Barbados. My bank account showed nothing, but Abdullah insisted I live from the assumption that I was already there. He would demand to know each morning if I was in Barbados. This was not about wishing, it was about accepting fully the new state. Within 3 months, in fact, closer to 2, I received an unexpected sum of money, more than enough for my passage, along with the funds to sustain me. It wasn't logic, it was the intense assumption that collapsed time. Your subconscious mind does not understand linear time. It understands feeling. It operates on the principle of now. When you intensely assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, your subconscious takes it as an immediate directive. It is not an instruction for the future. It is a declaration of the present. This internal state then compels the outer world, your 3-dimensional reality, to conform to the inner truth you have established. The mechanism is simple yet profound. What you feel as real is real to the subconscious, and the subconscious will manifest it. It bypasses all logical constraints, all hows, and delivers the what. Most men, when faced with lack, will immediately focus on the absence. They will lament their dwindling funds, visualize the bill collectors, and calculate how long it will take to earn the money through hard work. They are living from the state of poverty, and so poverty persists. The man who truly understands the law, however, will ignore the present lack. He will not merely hope for money. He will assume the feeling of already possessing the desired sum. He will live from the end, regardless of the outer circumstances. This distinction is paramount, for it separates those who languish in perpetual struggle from those who command their reality. Let me ask you, how often do you truly feel the weight of wealth in your pocket, or the relief of a fully paid bill before the money appears? Or do you only permit yourself that feeling once the external evidence confirms it? Your answer will reveal why your manifestations have been sluggish. I recall a time, many years after my Barbados experience, when I found myself in a state of financial urgency. I needed a substantial sum, over $20,000, to settle a pressing matter. The rational mind offered no solution. My pockets were near empty. I remembered Abdullah's insistence on immediate appropriation. I didn't try to visualize. I assumed the feeling of profound relief, the feeling of the money already being in my possession, the feeling of the problem solved. I felt the physical lightness, the absence of strain. I sustained this feeling with absolute conviction, knowing that my consciousness was the only reality. I fell asleep in this state. For 72 hours, I permitted no other feeling to penetrate my conviction. On the third day, a series of seemingly unrelated events unfolded, entirely outside my conscious planning, culminating in an unexpected check arriving in the mail, far exceeding the $20,000 I required. It was not coincidence. It was the law responding to the intensity of my assumption within that compressed time frame. The 72-hour rule is not a magical number, but a threshold of intensity and sustenance. It represents the maximum window for the subconscious to completely accept a new state as fact when that state is impressed upon it with unwavering, intense feeling. When you live from the wish fulfilled with such focused emotion, the subconscious mind is compelled to rearrange your reality immediately. It is a command for the collapse of time, a declaration that the future state is now. This immediate translation is the bedrock of accelerated manifestation. Most men fall into the trap of patience. They are told to be patient, that good things take time. But this belief is a poison. Patience is a virtue that actively sabotages rapid manifestation by denying the immediate nature of consciousness. It introduces a delay into your subconscious command, pushing your desire into a distant, uncertain future. The man who understands the 72-hour rule will never entertain patience. He will demand the immediate appearance of his desire by living in the feeling of its fulfillment now, knowing that his feeling is the creative power. Affirm aloud now, I command my reality to conform to my deepest desire. I am the immediate creator of my financial abundance. My intense feeling of wealth creates its instant physical equivalent. Repeat this daily, feel it deeply, and watch the world bend. I've seen countless students attempt effortless manifestation by simply repeating affirmations or doing light visualizations. One such student, a man named Robert, came to me distraught. He had been trying for months to manifest a new job, repeating, I am employed, and visualizing himself at a desk. Nothing happened. His belief was that if he just let go and trusted the universe, it would appear. I challenged him. I told him, Robert, your affirmations are hollow. Your visualizations are faint daydreams. You are not feeling the dignity of the work, the satisfaction of the paycheck, the confidence of purpose. I instructed him to sit, close his eyes, and with every fiber of his being, feel the weight of his briefcase, feel the firm handshake of his new boss, feel the pride of providing for his family. He spent 20 minutes a day, intensely, precisely, generating that feeling. Within 4 days, he received an offer for a job he hadn't even applied for, at a higher salary than he imagined. It wasn't effortless. It was focused effort of feeling. The subconscious is a fertile soil, but it requires a potent seed, not a scattered dust of wishes. Effortless is often mistaken for passive. True manifestation is never passive. It is an active, precise, and intense feeling of being, doing, or having the desired state. This feeling is the language of the subconscious. Without this depth of emotion, your thoughts are merely abstract concepts floating on the surface of your mind, never penetrating the creative depths. The mechanism is a feedback loop. Intense, precise feeling generates an undeniable inner conviction, and this conviction is what the subconscious then pushes into your outer experience. Most men believe that positive thinking or vague hopes are enough. They drift through life, occasionally thinking about what they want, but never truly feeling it as done. They are waiting for a lottery ticket to drop into their lap. The belief that large sums of money require large amounts of time or effort to manifest is a lie that keeps you poor. The man who manifests rapidly will recognize that while physical effort is often minimal, the mental and emotional effort, the precision and intensity of the feeling, is absolutely paramount. He will apply himself to the art of feeling with the same discipline a craftsman applies to his trade. Hear me now. Your half-hearted attempts are precisely why your desires remain unmet. It is not enough to want, you must become. My contemporary, Joseph Murphy, taught extensively on the power of the subconscious and the feeling of the wish fulfilled. He shared countless stories, but one that always resonated with me was of a businessman who was on the verge of bankruptcy. He had debts mounting, his business failing. Murphy advised him not to visualize money, but to visualize the end result of having the money. He told him to feel the profound relief, the peace of mind, the joy of solvency, to feel what it would be like to look at a zero balance on his debts. The man began to practice this feeling every night, not as a desperate plea, but as a quiet, certain knowing. He would lie in bed and feel the sensation of financial freedom. Within a month, an old, forgotten investment suddenly matured, providing him with far more than he needed to clear his debts and revitalize his business. It was the feeling, not the striving, that brought the money. The feeling of already having is not merely an intellectual concept, it is a somatic experience. It engages your entire being. It is the sigh of relief you would breathe, the lightness in your step, the warmth in your chest, the certainty in your mind, were your desire already a physical fact. This full-body, visceral feeling is the direct current that collapses temporal barriers. It tells the subconscious, unequivocally, that the desired state is real now. The subconscious then, being obedient, must rearrange the external world to match this internal, felt reality. It cannot do otherwise. This is the answer to one of your open loops. What is the exact feeling state that collapses time and brings $20,000 in 72 hours? It is the feeling of the wish fulfilled, specifically the relief and certainty that accompanies the end of your financial strain, the joy of having exactly what you need. Most men make the mistake of visualizing money as an abstract number or a distant goal. They see themselves getting money, buying things in the future. This only perpetuates the feeling of not having it now. Visualization alone, without this intense, immediate feeling of the wish fulfilled now, is merely fantasizing about a distant future that never arrives. The man who masters the law will not only visualize, but he will immerse himself in the sensory experience of the fulfilled wish. He will feel the texture of the check, hear the congratulations, taste the celebratory meal, and most importantly, feel the emotional relief of his desire already being a present fact. Remember my initial promise about the exact feeling state. It is this profound sense of relief, of a burden lifted, of having already arrived, that is the key. Florence Scovel Shinn, a profound metaphysician of the early 20th century, spoke constantly of living from the end. She taught that one must never acknowledge lack, but always declare the abundance. She had a student who desperately needed money for her rent and was facing eviction. Instead of worrying, Florence told her to thank God for her perfect apartment and to imagine herself looking out her window, seeing a beautiful view and feeling utter peace in her secure home. The student did so intensely for several days. She refused to look at her bank balance or the eviction notice. She lived from the end of already having her rent paid and her home secure. On the very day the eviction was to occur, a distant relative, whom she hadn't heard from in years, unexpectedly sent her a substantial sum of money as a gift, precisely enough to cover her rent and more. It wasn't luck. It was her intense dwelling in the feeling of the wish fulfilled that created its immediate physical equivalent. To live from the end is to inhabit the desired state so completely that your inner world becomes the reality. It means refusing to give power or attention to the current unwanted circumstances. It is not denial. It is absolute conviction in the supremacy of your imagination. When you live from the end with such intensity, your subconscious mind has no choice but to project that inner reality onto the screen of space. It must create the external circumstances, the people, the opportunities, the sudden influx of funds that perfectly reflect your inner state. This continuous, unwavering inner dwelling is the most potent form of subconscious programming, ensuring your assumption is so potent it must materialize within 72 hours, defying all logic. Most men make the fatal error of living towards the end. They see their desired state as something to be achieved in the future, a finish line to be crossed. This always keeps it at a distance. They are like a thirsty man who continually dreams of water but never takes a sip. The man who masters this forbidden secret will live from the end. He will speak as if it is done, feel as if it is done, and act from the premise that his desire is already a present fact. He will refuse to engage with the reality of lack, knowing that by doing so, he only strengthens its hold. In the next 3 minutes, I'll reveal how the how can derail your rapid manifestation and how to overcome it. One of the greatest philosophers of the New Thought movement, Thomas Troward, frequently emphasized the importance of understanding the principle over the method. He taught that once you understand that your consciousness is the creative power, the details of how it will manifest are irrelevant and, in fact, detrimental to contemplate. I had a student who was attempting to manifest a significant investment for his struggling business. He was doing all the right things, feeling the prosperity, living from the end, but he kept getting stuck on how the money would appear. Would it be a new client, an old investor, a loan? This constant questioning introduced doubt, a corrosive element that delays the manifestation. I told him, your job is to impress the end upon the infinite, not to dictate the path of the infinite. Your doubt about the how is like telling the architect you hired, I'm sure you can build the house, but only if you use my specific hammer and nails. The moment he released the how and simply rested in the fact of the prosperous business, the funds appeared from a source he had never considered possible within days. Doubt is the greatest sabotaging agent in manifestation. It introduces a ripple into the clear waters of your subconscious command, diluting its potency. When you ask how, you are implying that you do not fully trust the law. You are suggesting that your finite mind must orchestrate the infinite. The subconscious, being purely obedient, will then receive mixed signals. I have this money, but how will it come? This how introduces a temporal gap, a logical puzzle for the infinite intelligence which works through means beyond your comprehension. The mechanism for overcoming this is simple. Recognize that the infinite intelligence knows the way. Your role is only to feel the end. The how is the domain of consciousness itself. Most men will immediately try to figure out the logistics of their desires. They will strategize, plan, and calculate, believing that their conscious mind must pave the way for the manifestation. This is where they invariably fail in rapid manifestation. The man who truly lives by the law will dismiss all logical hows. He will understand that the creative power does not consult with his limited human logic. He will rest in the assumption of the wish fulfilled, knowing that the ways and means are infinite and will reveal themselves precisely when the inner state is firm. Repeat daily with conviction, I am unwavering in my assumption. The how is not my concern. I command the universe to deliver my desires through channels known and unknown. My persistent feeling of the wish fulfilled opens all doors for its immediate manifestation. Say this, feel the certainty, and release the need to control the path. Emmett Fox, another great teacher, spoke of the principle of unwavering faith. He emphasized that once you have impressed your desire upon the subconscious, your work is to maintain that impression, come what may. He told a story of a woman who needed a specific sum for an urgent medical procedure. She adopted the feeling of perfect health and financial abundance, knowing the money would appear. For 2 days, things looked bleak. Her symptoms persisted, and her bank account remained unchanged. Friends and family urged her to be realistic, but she held steadfast. She refused to allow the outer world to dictate her inner state. She maintained the feeling of abundance, even against all sensory evidence. On the 3rd day, a local charity, completely unknown to her, contacted her, having heard of her plight through an obscure connection, and offered to cover all her medical expenses, plus extra. Her unwavering assumption, her refusal to be swayed by the facts of her illness or lack, forced the unseen to manifest. The final act is the unwavering assumption, the relentless persistence in the feeling of the wish fulfilled until it hardens into fact. The subconscious mind, once impressed, begins its work. But if you then entertain doubt or allow the outer world to pull you back into the old state, you are effectively canceling your order. The mechanism is simple. The sustained internal feeling creates a magnetic field that draws its equivalent. Any interruption in this feeling disrupts the field. You must maintain the state of the wish fulfilled until the external reality catches up, which, with intense feeling, will happen swiftly. This is how you ensure your assumption is so potent it must materialize within 72 hours, defying all logic and current circumstances. Most men will try for a day or two, see no immediate results, and then revert to their old way of thinking. They will look at their bank account, see no change, and declare, "It didn't work." They lack the fundamental understanding of persistence in imagination. The man who succeeds will understand that once the feeling is impressed, his only task is to maintain it, regardless of appearances. He will trust the invisible power of his assumption to manifest. He will remain in the feeling of his wealth until his pockets reflect the inner reality. The belief that large sums of money require large amounts of time or effort to manifest is a lie that keeps you poor. Patience is a virtue that actively sabotages rapid manifestation by denying the immediate nature of consciousness. Visualization alone, without this intense, immediate feeling of the wish fulfilled now, is merely fantasizing about a distant future that never arrives. Here's exactly how you will apply this forbidden blueprint to manifest your substantial sum of money within 72 hours, just as I and my students have done. 1. Define your target. Choose a specific, substantial financial sum you desire, be it $10,000, $20,000 or more. Make it real, tangible. 2. Enter the feeling state. For 15 to 20 minutes, twice daily upon waking and before sleep, or whenever you can dedicate absolute focus, close your eyes. Do not just visualize the money, feel the profound relief, the lightness, the certainty that comes with possessing it. Feel what it means to you, the bills paid, the freedom, the security. Make it a full-body, visceral experience. This is the exact feeling state that collapses time and brings $20,000 in 72 hours. 3. Live from the end, relentlessly. For the next 72 hours, refuse to acknowledge lack in any meaningful way. If a negative thought arises, immediately return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Speak as if it is done. Act from the assumption that the money is already yours. This is how you ensure your assumption is so potent it must materialize within 72 hours, defying all logic and current circumstances. Do not question how it will come, simply know that it is here. 4. The Abdullah command. Just as Abdullah demanded, "Are you in Barbados?" Constantly affirm to yourself, "I have my now. It is done." Let this inner certainty be your compass. Why did Abdullah insist on the immediate demonstration? Because he knew consciousness is now, and only an immediate, unwavering assumption compels reality to respond with equal immediacy. By rigorously following these steps, you will experience the manifestation of a specific, substantial financial sum, e.g., $10,000, $20,000, or an undeniable, tangible opportunity for it within 72 hours of applying the precise feeling state and technique, or you will clearly diagnose the exact, time-diluting assumption you're holding that is blocking your breakthrough. You have now seen why the belief that large sums of money require large amounts of time or effort to manifest is a lie that keeps you poor. You understand that patience is a virtue that actively sabotages rapid manifestation by denying the immediate nature of consciousness. And you now know that visualization alone, without this intense, immediate feeling of the wish fulfilled now, is merely fantasizing about a distant future that never arrives. These old chains of belief are shattered. We have answered. The exact feeling state that collapses time and brings $20,000 in 72 hours is the profound relief, lightness, and certainty of the wish already being fulfilled. Abdullah insisted on immediate demonstration because consciousness itself is immediate. Any delay in your feeling is a delay in your manifestation. You ensure your assumption is potent by embracing the specific feeling state of relief and certainty, living from the end and rejecting all consideration of the how, maintaining this state without wavering for 72 hours. Now the choice is yours, as it always is. Will you continue to grind, to struggle, to wait for a distant, uncertain future, trapped by the old beliefs of effort and time? Or will you now embrace this forbidden blueprint, step into the power of your imagination, and experience the immediate, undeniable influx of substantial wealth within 72 hours, just as I and my students have done? The key to unlocking this power resides in this truth. Play this again. Return to this daily. Immerse yourself in these principles, for your imagination, intensely felt, is the only reality. The decision is yours. Make it one of power.